Welcome back, Smart Nation, to another edition of our weekly webinar series. I am your host, Michael Tirado. Today we will discuss the importance of weekly one-on-one reviews with your team and how this powerful tool touches on each one of our core values. So what is a one-on-one and why are they so important? A one-on-one meeting is a check-in with you, our most valuable asset. There's a science to regular check-ins. It helps create a culture of trust and accountability. Let's listen to what author Marcus Buckingham has to say to the Harvard Business Review on the subject.
So if you were to sum it up, if you were to really just sum it up and go, gosh, what happens on the best teams? You'd go, know me for what I do best and focus me around it. Know me, focus me. But if there's one thing, when you look at these two questions and you go, gosh, what would a leader have to do in order to get people to strongly agree to those two things? What would it be? It would be frequent strengths-based check-ins about near-term future work. And that's free. What is a frequent strengths-based check-in about work? Here's what it sounds like. I'm going to use you. What's your name? Jada? I'm going to say every week, I'm going to check in with Jada, and I'm going to go, hey, what are your priorities this week, and how can I help? That's all that is. And I'm not going to, don't worry, you're about to tell me. I'm not interested. I'm just going through the motions. What are your priorities? How can I help? 5 minutes, 7 minutes. What you're saying to everybody on your team is, look, some things presumably this week are more important than other things. Take 5 minutes to share 5 things with me about the next 5 days. Could you do that? Because a year isn't a marathon, it's 52 sprints. And my job as a leader is to make sure sprint 35 feels as energizing as sprint 1. That's hard. I'm not saying that's not hard. But the solution to making it feel like you know what's expected of you and that I know what your strengths are is every week I'm just going, hey, what are your priorities? How can I help? And there are some leaders who go, look, I'd love to do that, but I'm too busy. I'm too busy leading. Yeah, okay. Stop everything else you're doing. Just do that. This isn't in addition to leading. This is leading. That's how you get the best out of people. If you're doing other things, that's fine. If you look at it and go, well, I'd love to do that, but actually I got too many people. Yeah, you've got too many people or you shouldn't lead, because that's what leading is. In some real way, that's what you're helping people do as coaches too, of course, is you're saying, what can you control is the future? What can you interact with? What strategies can you put together is next week. Strengths-based strategies about near-term future work. I'm sorry if this is a crashing glimpse of the obvious, but there is no tool, there are no systems in place to have this happen. Adobe's doing check-ins and Microsoft's doing check-ins right now. Motorola's doing check-ins, except they're doing them once every 6 weeks. Okay, whatever that isn't a check-in. You change the cadence, you change what it's about. If I'm checking in with you once every 6 weeks, I have to prepare. You have to prepare. I have to look back. You have to look back. We both suffer from the recency effect, so we can't think of anything beyond about 2 weeks. So you make it up and I make it up, and the whole organization looks backwards. You hate it, I hate it, and then we all waste our time and then we move on. It's like going to a bad dentist. No one looks forward to it before it goes. While you're there, it's painful, and afterwards nothing good happens. So think about it as that cadence is really important. Short, light touch check-ins about near-term work. At least that's what we're saying. How it directly impinges on your work as coaches, it'll vary. But this is what we're out there saying. From all the data, what do we know? We know the team leader makes the difference. We know that there are certain things that the best team leaders do, and it's a we-me juxtaposition. And then what's the one action that all the best team leaders seem to get into the habit of? That.
Smart one-on-one meetings are a key building block to becoming the best in the world at whatever we do. Scheduling regular one-on-one sessions with your team members fosters an environment of learning and growth for everyone. It should not be viewed as a task, but rather as an opportunity to communicate with and engage with your team members. One-on-one should be scheduled weekly at a specific time. It's always best to meet away from the sales floor if possible. This way, you can both devote your attention to the interaction. The one-on-one sessions should be brief, usually 10 to 15 minutes, each with individual team members to ensure an atmosphere of excellence and resulting in success and profitability. During the one-on-one sessions, take time to review goals and measure progress. Each team member should be working with smart staff to ensure everyone is executing company goals and values. This session should also focus on achieving team member personal goals that will not only lead to their success, but the overall success of the Smart Nation. Here's our latest and greatest one-on-one forum. Here, both management and team members can openly discuss any areas of opportunities or celebrate accomplishments. So here on this example, we can see The employee's first and last name must be on the top of the form. Make sure to put your store name and store number. If you're using the correct form, your store name and number will be pre-printed on the top line. And be sure to use the correct date range. Use the week beginning Sunday and ending on a Saturday. The second part of the form is for you, the team member. It asks you a series of questions that lay the foundation to your continued success. It starts off with, have you received a copy of the most recent newsletter for the month? Secondly, do you know what is expected of you at work? Third, do you have the materials and equipment needed to work? At work, you have the opportunity to do what you do best every day. In the last week, have you received recognition or praise for doing good work? My supervisor or someone at work seems to care about me as a person. There is someone at work that encourages my development. And lastly, the most recent webinar was reviewed during the weekly store meeting. The third part of the form is where we track your individual productivity. Let's take a hard look at the numbers. Do you know your sales goal, your layaway goal, your loan, buys, and PSE collected goals? Do you know how to reach these goals? Discuss your goals with your manager. This is how you reach superstar status. This is how you make the big commissions. Don't leave money on the table. The fourth part of the form should be used to elaborate on part 3 of the form. Here your manager will discuss your productivity for the week and celebrate successes. We also want to use this part of the form to discuss any productivity and training opportunities. And here is a great opportunity for you as a team member to share feedback with your managers. What do you as a team member want to learn, ask, tell, communicate to help you do a better job? Don't wait until you're in the weeds to speak up. Here's your opportunity. And lastly, part 5 of the one-on-one form. This is a confidential employee-employer document. SMART requires your signature. This ensures that the document is accurate and that everyone knows what is expected. Once it's completed and signed by both parties, a copy should be emailed to your district manager, CCing one-on-one@smartfinancialent.com. And now let's recap. A one-on-one session is your personal opportunity to be heard, seen, understood, and celebrated for your weekly accomplishments. This session explains how you are measured, and it is your opportunity to understand, reach, and surpass your goals. Use this form as your guide. It's a great tool to create a culture of trust and accountability. And remember, the year is not a marathon, it's 52 sprints. And as always, I'd like to thank everyone for taking time out of their day to listen to another edition of our weekly one-on-one series. I am your host, Michael Torrado. Hope everyone has a fantastic July.